Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this roundtable where we discuss, if you have a leading instrument from Malvern Panalytical, how to get the most out of it with all of the accompanying services. I'm here at the table with Marvin Bartelink, welcome, Tamara Bettino, welcome, and Ulf Notman.
Hello there.
We're going to discuss 3 different topics. First, as a client, I would like to know that it works when needed. Every instrument, doesn't matter if it's one or more. I want to know that it works when needed, so we're going to discuss that a bit. I want to know that my results are reliable all the time that I do an analysis. And the third is I want to make sure that I'm using my instrument as efficiently as possible so that it is as easy to use as can be. Starting with the first one, how do I know that it works as when needed?
So the way to keep your instrument running at peak performance is to make sure that it's properly maintained, just as you would do with your car. If you have a car and one of your warning lights comes on, you would want to go in and have that checked out immediately. The same as with our service packages. So we can include Smart Manager with our service packages. That is kind of that warning system, like your car. And then we also are very big on the preventative maintenance, making sure that we've got those everything up to speed and that it's running. It's kind of like a tune-up for your car. We're tuning up your machine each year. And then that we would have the corrective maintenance that in the event that something does happen that wasn't foreseen when we do a preventative maintenance.
Okay, that's clear. So you mentioned Smart Manager, and I know, for example, Z-Team comes with Smart Manager.
Yeah.
What is that, Mark?
Well, I had to get started. Malvern Panalytical always have been a front runner in terms of remote support. We're also providing service engineers can actually dial into an instrument to perform a remote support after an issue have occurred. But if you bring that further and we can connect an instrument to a digital platform, you can also predict and already have the data and see what's upcoming. And this opens up a whole new world of possibilities in terms of proactive support. And for preventing downtime or making sure that the instrument is always available, with this information, the service team can always be alerted up front when something is about to happen, or if something has happened, or be more prepared before a visit or before a preventive maintenance, what Tamara already mentioned.
Okay, well.
So there are different aspects in having that information available.
So you want that in place to ensure maximum uptime?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's the proactive support part, but there's also something about utilization inside, right? What's that?
Yeah, so customers also have the possibility to take a look at their own utilization. So when a customer, for example, has multiple instruments, they can see the balance load between the instrument and make sure that it is equally distributed. So there are several elements in that part.
Applications maintenance team, or how does that come in?
Well, I was just thinking, since you mentioned the ZDM, so if, for example, our Smart Manager indicates that there may be something with the detector that may need replacement, that would then give us a little advance notice that we most likely would have to recalibrate the instrument, so we would have to schedule for an application scientist to come in there and help you or support you with that recalibration of the system. And that may be done on site, so somebody has to travel there, or we can do that remotely too, provided the capabilities are there on the customer side and the willingness. We don't force you to do remote support, but our applications service offering is quite wide. You can go from online courses that we have. There's a lot of information on our website. You have this customer portal. You log in, you can see relevant information that applies specifically to your type of instrument because your serial number is connected to it. We have a My Store, an online shopping center where you can buy consumables, and we offer training from basic training courses to expertise consultancy, just dedicated one-on-one training specifically for a situation where you don't want to tell anybody else about it. We of course do NDAs, non-disclosure.
Yes. I hear a lot about these user groups, so the user groups and the user trainings. Can you share an example of like an aha moment that happened when you did or one of your team members did a user training?
So what can happen in these aha moments that you're implying is sometimes you have this situation where you have a group that has used their system for a long time, they're really experts at it, and then the leader of that group retires or something happens and whoever was the local knowledge expert is no longer part of the group.
Yeah.
And then you see people that maybe were just routinely doing the same before, but all of a sudden they struggle at a tiny step.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't click the right thing in the software, or something is just ever so slightly out of what it was before.
Yeah.
And when we then come in and maybe even just an hour remote help and see that, hey, everything's working again, and it wasn't such a big thing, we were able to fix it remotely. I think that's a big aha moment for us.
Yeah.
And that can be even big things, like a whole factory producing steel or something that relies on this. So. Or it can be little things where all of a sudden a research project makes sense again and you can put the right stuff into your publication.
Yeah.
So it goes for...
So working with clients and then really showing them the ins and outs of the instruments can make a real big difference in making them happy.
Yes, and of course we target it. I mean, we have some customers that really just I want the same answer every day. I want to run my SOP, my method. Or we have clients that just really focus on that tiny little aspect and I want to know, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And so that's part of the variety of our job. But we can offer that help because we have the breadth of knowledge.
Yeah. We also have our, for some of those smaller aspects of the application, we have our Knowledge Center online as well that has white papers, studies that we have done. It has application notes, and it has some training, user manuals. So there's a lot of good information that can be attained there for some of the smaller issues that come up. For the larger ones, obviously, you're going to want to bring in an application scientist for those. But we've got a great resource to at least get started to see if there's something that a customer can do on their own. Because I know we all, in the age of digital, everybody wants instant satisfaction and be able to grab everything at their fingertips. So we try to provide that as much information available to our customers that way as well.
Okay, so that's about maximum uptime and ensuring that that it's up when you need it. The second topic is related to quality. I want to know that I'm doing the right measurements and get reliable results. Marwin, how do we do that?
Well, if I take, for example, the ZTeam example, Smart Manager has a possibility to run periodic tests. It's like a quality test done every week, and this data is being analyzed by a team of specialists, making sure that everything is top-notch and aligned. I also appreciate what Ulf is mentioning. You want to get most of the application. From a technical perspective, you're looking at sensor data, you're looking at more or less on hardware level. So before things happen, before it affects the application, usually it's already seen by the hardware.
Okay, Tamara, anything to add?
Well, that plays right into our service contracts. So taking the information from our team that is remotely monitoring your system, we can then, if there is an issue, we have all of this background data that Smart Manager has collected. So this will allow our service team to be able to analyze the data that's coming directly from your machine to see what the consequences of these results are. And that allows us to triage the problem before we even send anybody out there. So in the event that we can fix it remotely, trying to be sustainable in that respect, sending out people as less often as we can, and then in the event that we do need to send somebody on site, that also allows us to order the part first before we arrive on site. So it gives us more first-time right fixes.
That's also a quality perspective. With the right data, you can prepare yourself better in making sure that first-time fix rate is shorter.
I guess it's also very annoying if you have to go back twice for the customer and for the team.
Yeah, and in a more traditional way of support, when an instrument breaks down, and that takes time, and then you respond, you have to find out, get the log files, get the information, reproduce what has happened. That all takes time, and that time can actually be taken away if the data is already there.
Yeah.
So I think it works on both ways in that respect.
Yeah, right. Quality and applications?
Yes, well, one thing I'd like to add to the Smart Manager topic is that there may be some concerns, maybe on customer sides that sometimes think, well, I don't want Malvern Panalytical to look at my data.
Yes.
But the way I'd like to look at it is we basically take like a special glass, we put it into the instrument, we measure that glass, and only the data from that glass, some nondescript thing that is not your sample, basically gets recorded and sent up to the cloud, and then Malvern's team can look at it and say, oh, that signal is really a lot lower than it should be. There must be something going on, or maybe something is odd there. We need to look at it, or the temperature isn't right, the cooling water is wrong.
So it's the non-proprietary data that you're...
That's right.
Yeah.
So that just want to make sure that that comes across. And
Yeah.
so it's in a way like internal standards that we have available, that we run, and that can help us make sense of your instrument.
Yeah, makes sense.
Without having knowledge of your detailed, exact samples and processes that...
Yeah, they will stay with the customer
Yes.
always. Yes.
But we can use that that kind of background data that Smart Manager is collecting from an applications point of view too, can't we?
Yes, yeah, that's right. I mean, in a way, this whatever signal we get from our standard helps us interpret, hey, you get this sensitivity from your system, and there's differences between different systems too, different models, and that helps us because it maybe tells us that the background is different, and so you need a little more concentration, say, of a certain component that you want to see, or you need to, you have some impurities in there that you maybe didn't do your sample preparation right.
Yeah, so that way you can always check the quality of your sample and the reliability of your results, really.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add from the applications team perspective then?
Well, I think what is important is if you may have the very best system out there, and maybe it's even performing right, but if you're not using it correctly,
Exactly.
Getting the most out of it is something different, yeah.
yes, I think we from my group's applications perspective, we'd like you to get the maximum information out of the system. And yes, it's really important that you have a really well-tuned, perfect engine, and the oil level is correct, and the tires are inflated right, and the window is clear so that you can drive ahead. But we'd like you to go along the right roads and not get distracted on the way to find your target, your goal you want to get to.
You help the driver.
The destination,
Yeah, you help the driver to reach the destination. Well, that's a nice analogy. The final one is if I buy an instrument or if I have instruments, I would like to make it use as easy as possible. So ease of use, ease of control, basically. What's in place for that?
So put a service contract on your system and you can forget about it after that. If there is an issue that comes up, you'll know that you're protected. You'll know that you'll have somebody, a trained professional that will be there quickly with the right parts. We strive for first-time right corrections. And then we're also very adamant about, like I said, the preventative and proactive maintenance. So we want to make sure that you've bought the best instrument on the market, so we want to make sure that it stays that way and that it's always running exactly the way you want it to run.
Yeah, and I understand there's different service packages, really. How do I go about that?
So we have 5 different levels of our service packages. And we have a tool that's called the Service Solution Configurator, and it's available. If you'd like to get onto our website, you can click a button, and then you could be able to request one of our representatives go through that with you. It's a needs and risks-based assessment of exactly how you use your system, what the importance of the system is to you. And so we make sure that we tailor your service contract to exactly what it is that you need for that. So we make sure it stays at peak performance.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I think with that, we covered how you can make the most out of your instrument. Thank you very much.